To vaccinate your way out of a pandemic, broadly speaking, would require two ingredients. One is a very effective vaccine, and two, a very, very high percentage of people who take the vaccine. The first one out of the gate, the Pfizer vaccine, has an extraordinarily high degree of efficacy, more than 90%, close to 95%. That is extraordinary. Now what we've got to do is we've got to convince people to take the vaccine. Because if you have a highly effective vaccine and only 50% of the people take it, you're not going to have the impact that you'd need to essentially bring a pandemic down to such a low level that it's no longer threatening society. The next vaccine out of the gate is from Moderna. And if that is really comparable to what we saw with the Pfizer trial, we'll now have two highly effective vaccines. So we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but things are starting to look good. We'll know that depending on the number of infections we get in the trial, because the primary endpoint is symptomatic disease. The secondary endpoint is infection as well as advanced disease. So we should get a lot more information than just whether or not you prevent symptomatic disease. The adenovirus vectors that have been used in other diseases has a considerably more experience with regard to safety. So there are years of experience of safety with thousands and thousands of people that have been vaccinated with the adenovirus vectors. Obviously, always want to be very careful when it comes to safety when you're dealing with vaccines that you're going to be giving to hundreds of millions, if not billions of people. And that is something that is on everybody's front burner. Safety is paramount. There is obviously indications that innate immunity plays a role, why people do well or don't do well. There are people who are in the polymorphism of our species, have genes that essentially don't make interferon, and they do poorly. We have those who have antibodies to interferon, they do poorly. So it makes sense, logical, that maybe an appropriate application of interferon, be that spraying through the nose or whatever it is, might have some effect. We don't know that yet. We haven't proven it yet. I mean, there are a lot of theories, everything ranging from previous, more recent common cold coronaviruses leading to a residual cross-reacting immunity, to children have less of an expression of ACE2 receptors in their airways, to a variety of other things. We do not know really why there's a difference there. The more reservoirs you have for viruses that could potentially infect human, the more danger you have to humans getting infected. So if you have active replication in a mink population, that gives them the opportunity to mutate. And it is possible that one of those mutations may make the virus more adaptable to human. And what we don't need is more viruses adaptable to human. So that's one of the reasons why the Danes got very upset when they saw that there was SARS coronavirus 2 in the mink population, because there was even a couple of mutations among those that were worrisome. So what we like to do is keep those viruses out of populations for which they readily replicate, because when you readily replicate, it gives you more of an opportunity to mutate. You know, we went for a very long period of time dealing with the 4 common cold coronaviruses, knowing full well that bats were a major reservoir of coronaviruses with sequences that were similar to the sequences that were infecting humans, with just, some minor molecular differences. I would not be surprised if we saw another coronavirus jump species into humans. Whether or not it would turn into a pandemic, I don't know. I hope not. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see others jump species and go from a bat maybe to an intermediate host to the human.